I know exactly what I'm gonna talk to you about, because I've been hearing you complain about how you get rejected all the time, how you didn't get that job, how you didn't get that audition, how the girl turned you down, that guy turned you down, and you tried it twice. You're like, I did everything that I could and it didn't happen for you. You ever seen a baby when they're wanting to learn how to walk with so much tenacity and they get up, fall down, and that's not even their natural state, but they want it so bad that they're willing to do whatever it takes. When was the last time you ever did something where you wanted it so bad that you were willing to get up, fall down, get up, fall down? Or did you just quit after the second time and say it didn't work, the company didn't work, the relationship didn't work? Well, what if that same baby got up and fell down twice, never to learn how to walk?
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because when I started my first business, I really struggled to believe in myself. I was making $300 a month and quit on my business partner. And the thing that saved me was watching the stories of successful entrepreneurs. They gave me strategies as well as hope and belief that just maybe I could do it myself as well. And I hope that this video here today helps you get a little bit more belief in yourself, because I still need the videos for myself today too. So today's one from one of the best, Garrain Jones, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy.
Let's just say when you want to learn something new from something you've never been a part of, it's the exact same process as learning how to walk, as learning your ABCs, as learning a new language. Sometimes we get stuck in our head and get really cocky and prideful. Like, oh, I'm just gonna do this and it's just gonna happen. Nothing just happens. So if success isn't a part of something that you grew up into, it's like a form of language. So guess what? The rejection is only there to test you and cultivate you and strengthen you so that you can get up and fall down and get up and fall down and get up and fall down and get a little bit better every single day, only for you to gain balance, spell the word, get success, get that love, love yourself, whatever it is that you're going after in life. So no, you're not being rejected. You're being tested. Your yes is being tested because you are born with a yes. You are a yes. And your yes is being tested. So to earn your powerful yes, you've got to grow through your nose. And you will be known people, and life is gonna life on you. There will be struggles, trials, tribulations, and things that come down upon your life. And you will feel rejected, kicked on, spit out, punched, your soul stripped from you. But what are you willing to grow through to earn your powerful yes? Go after your dreams. Go after your goals. Don't stop. Be like flies on kick over ant mound, and you see they work relentlessly. They go over and under and fly and over to the left and to the right. They do whatever they can. And they don't see rejection. They see the goal. So what is it that you want? What do you really want? Earn your powerful yes by growing through your nose. Earn your stripes. Keep moving forward and get 1% better every single day.
Rule number 2 is practice voluntary discomfort.
The essence of life is growth. So you actually always like seeking that evolution is just part of your nature, period. Because it, everything is, what I've learned is everything is energy. So if the essence of life is growth, then motion is actually part of our divine nature. So we're energy in motion, which is why growth must always take place. And the moment you stop growing, that's where all the weird stuff happens. So I like to say it's like the metamorphosis of the butterfly. A caterpillar, and then all of a sudden it spins the cocoon. Yeah. But it's that dark place. Yeah. And then it doesn't even know that it's about to turn into the butterfly. So while it's in the dark place, that's where most of the growth is happening. Here's where most people that I've come across miss the mark. When you emerge into that thing that you didn't even know you were going to emerge into, if you want to keep growing, there must be a death phase, like an ego death, or some part of you that's dying off and upgrading into the new version. So it's like iPhone 1, iPhone 2. They let go of the old camera and upgrade to the new camera. So let go of the old process and the way that you're thinking, or the attitude, or the, you know, your energy. So if you want to keep growing, it's almost like going back into the cocoon. But here's the distinction. You can either let it catch you by surprise, or you can put yourself through voluntary discomfort. And that could be reading when you don't want to read. That can be working out when you don't want to work out, or waking up early when you wake up late.
This morning, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Putting yourself through voluntary discomfort actually channels the same part of your brain as when something random happens. You're like, oh, where'd this come from? And you have to adjust. But if you're intentionally putting yourself through voluntary discomfort, you'll see that those other things, those random, out of the box, weird things, happen a lot less. So it's almost like there's a universal order that's wanting you to be tested. So either you take yourself to school, or school is going to happen whether you like it or not.
Rule number 3 is be resilient.
Most people, when they face hardship in their life, unfortunately, you know, there's certain things that you've gone through, from homelessness to various different hardships. And I'm just curious, what do you feel like is at the true core essence of why you were able to integrate those and move past them and become who you are today, where a lot of people get stuck when facing, you know, difficult moments and challenges in their life?
Honestly, it's my willingness to get back up. And I want to owe a lot of credit to my brother. I had a big brother who he weighed a lot more than me, and all we did was wrestle every single day. And I'd lose every single day. And he was like, get back up, get back up. So my brother, and especially when MMA came out, and then we just always wrestling and doing all kind of things, but he was a much bigger dude. So imagine me, 60 pounds, and he's 150 pounds. And he's just laying on me. So that, along with, and I didn't know that was training me to always just get back up in the face of a giant mountain, you know? So my brother being the giant mountain from when I was a little kid all the way up until graduating high school trained me for my hardships without me even knowing it, because I was always getting back up. Getting back up. My father was murdered when I was 12 years old. I was unconsciously, just got to find a way to get back up, get back into the flow of things. You know, my house got broken into, and they burned down my house, and my mom didn't have insurance. So we literally lost everything. And I watched my mom get back up. So everybody around me always had this resilience to just keep going. I never heard complaining or why is this happening to me? I heard tears, and then my mom always found a way to get back up. My brother made me get back up when we were fighting. And then when life lifed me, like that, don't you? When life lifed me and these hardships would come, I was already domesticated to always get back up. So if I take it all the way back, I know I was a born warrior spirit. I know there's somewhere in my ancestral lineage was warriors and fighters, but like a whole different caliber of fighter. And my relentlessness to always keep going in the face of anything that shows up, I think it's at the nature and the core of what has me to keep moving forward, where most people crumble.
Rule number 4 is accept your vulnerability.
Your expression of vulnerability and being open the way that you were included the vision. Is the vision part of the vulnerability, or is the vision something that you need to anchor to so that you don't just get lost in the victimhood that vulnerability. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
you express vulnerability and you're telling, this is what I've been through. Without the vision, do people risk being dragged into victimhood? Is that part of it?
Well, here's the thing. This is why I became a high-paid storyteller. Because when I share my story, now people start thinking about their story and what it could be. So now my vision becomes a possibility, and they're like, wow. So I loan my eyes out.
I love that.
I loan my eyes out. So borrow my eyes. And then they start seeing, because you can't be what you can't see. Because then they start seeing what's possible. I didn't know that when I was a senior, when I was a freshman in high school and I saw a varsity letterman's jacket for the first time, I didn't know that I could get that before becoming a senior. I'm like, what's that? They're like, oh, you got to be a senior to get that. I was like, well, how do you get it sooner? Well, you have to be good enough. Well, in the summertime, because I saw it and I wanted it, I want the letter on the jacket. Instead of playing all summer, I had private coaches. I was doing different things than the other average kids were doing. Next thing, all of a sudden, I was way better than a lot of people. And then they promoted me to varsity as a sophomore. And I got my letterman's jacket, but I had to see it. So when people see what embodiment, courage, true freedom, authenticity, expression, vulnerability expressed not in the lens of weakness, but in the lens of power. What that looks like, people start saying, me too. Me too. And I've seen it. When I coach, when people who read my book and people who come to me that I've never met before, they're like, man, I didn't even know that it was even possible to represent a stature where you can be really fully expressed and not care what people think, until I saw you walk around. And at first I thought it was fake, but then I followed you for 5 years and you have not budged, not one millimeter. In every single interview. It's like typically you can see the cracks. You've been promoting the same message, and then as you evolve, you've been promoting the same message. Then I watched you. I went to one of your events and I sat all the way in the back. Let me see him off stage. Let me see him off. You're the real deal. And so I pride myself off of simply being authentically expressed. Even in my weaknesses, there's still power there.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5 is express yourself freely.
In the book, you talk about a moment in your life where you were allowing the opinions of others to dictate who you were.
You hear people, they'll say, oh, you're stupid, or you're dumb, and you're this, and you're that. And then all of a sudden you hear a song long enough, you start singing the song. So if you hear names from other people and society for long enough, it seeps into your subconscious mind. And then all of a sudden, I'm stupid. There's something wrong with my skin color. I'm this, I'm that. And that leads to the loss of self, because at the conception stage, that's where the gold is. It's like a baby being born into love, and everything else after that is learned. But then, you hear these little kids that are like, oh, I'm gonna be a superhero. I'm strong and I'm powerful. And then it just fades away. So when you intentionally tell yourself who you are, it's almost, but from a positive narrative, it's reminding yourself of who you've always been. But like when you remove that negative stuff and you're like, I'm strong, I am powerful, I am beautiful inside and out, I am successful in every area of my life, and keep telling it, then your body starts to adjust to that vibration and frequency.
Rule number 6 is ask for feedback.
There are two phrases that I often say is you can't change what you're not aware of. And even if there is change, you won't be able to articulate it. And if you can't articulate it, you can't teach it. And if you can't teach it, you don't experience exponential growth. And so you can't change what you're not aware of. And then 2, you can't see the picture while you're in the frame. So having people in your life that don't just say yes, oh my God, you're so amazing, even when the shit's not amazing. Having actual people in your life that will stand for your higher self and hold accountable and hold the light, but also tell you when you're off course, given your permission, of course, but I ask for it. I ask for, I don't call it feedback, but for feed forward, because a lot of times you can't see what other people see. That was something that early on, I leaned in, and most people, they're afraid of feedback. They're like, oh, and he said this and he said that. Here's one thing I want to invite each and everybody out there. Every time you do a talk, every time you do a project, every time you do something where you're expressing yourself or you're showing yourself, ask for feedback. Ask for feed forward. Because there will be some nuggets inside. And ask somebody who won't just tickle your feathers. Like ask somebody who's like a straight up person. And don't be afraid of what they share, because all it is information that you can either do something with or not. I learned early on in my transformation, there were people that just stood for me, and they stood for my higher self. And they held me into that. They were like, it didn't land for me. Okay, why didn't it land for you? And be really curious about your journey. It was like, okay, why didn't this work? Why didn't this work for you? Most people don't want to hear that. So I just want to give people, this is one of my secret sauces. I will always ask for feedback. I will always ask the questions inside of the questions. And when somebody says, oh my God, that inspired me so much. Anybody who knows me, I'll always say, what exactly inspired you? And then when they share it, that's when you make a mental note, because they're giving you a verbal reflection of what's inside of your picture that you may or may not be able to see. And the more and more of that you can get, the more and more you can see of yourself through other people's eyes that you trust.
Rule number 7 is don't let setbacks stop you. When
did it become clear to you that all of what you went through, 4 years old in a dryer, we were talking about this, you were tossing in a dryer. I could literally, when I was reading that, see my kid in the dryer, and it just made me so sad and angry all at the same time. But from that to your father's murder, I think when you were 12 years old, all the way through, juvenile detention and prison in another country and all this stuff. At what point did you realize or think or come to the conclusion that all of this was serving who you are?
There was a moment where at the time my spiritual advisor, Monica Zans, she said, I want you to write a letter from your big self to your little self. And I didn't know where she was going with this. Just apologizing to him for abandoning little Garrain. And there were parts where, and I told her, I said, I was ashamed of my past. And so I moved to LA so that I could run away and make a fresh new start. I even changed my name. I went from Garrain to my middle name, Steph Jones. But all of that was out of shame and guilt and escaping. And she said, write a letter from your big self, big Steph, to little Garrain, and apologize to him for abandoning him. And when you're done with that letter, switch to your non-dominant hand, which I already knew what the non-dominant hand thing did, because I did it in prison. Every time I wrote with my non-dominant hand, it operated a different part of my brain. So she said, switch to your non-dominant hand and then write a letter from little Garrain to big Steph
And whatever emotions want to come out, just allow it. I wasn't prepared for how many emotions I stuffed down from childhood. Stuffed down being molested when I was 13. Stuffed down having to decide when my mom forced me to decide which parent I want to go with as my parents were separating. Choose. You have 30 minutes to pack your bags at 4. Have to decide being bullied. All of these things, I stuffed down these emotions. So when I wrote the letter from little Garrain to big Steph, my nervous system unlocked years and years of guilt, shame, abandonment, and I was cursing and I was crying and screaming at my big self for leaving me. You effing left me. You left me by myself. And I didn't know this was, so I didn't know what to do. My body was shaking. And then when I was done with that letter, and I was like, oh my God, I abandoned the real me. I was born Garrain Stefan Jones. Why would I even abandon that name? Because nobody else has that name. So I went on social media when the world knew me as Stefan and Steph. And I wrote on social media. This is before I had all these followers or anything. You think you know me? You have no idea. You know this, this, and this, and this, and this. That's because I told you. But what you don't know is I've cheated on every girlfriend I ever had. Right now, I'm living in my car, sleeping in an abandoned building, sleeping on bubble wrap, sleeping in my storage unit. I've been homeless. I always try to cut corners and things like that. And this is not where I'm going to stay. Within 5 years, I'm going to retire my mom. Within 5 years, I'm going to be a 7-figure earner. And then on the post, I wrote this on Facebook. On the post, in the comment section, people were laughing. They're like talking about me. They're saying all these negative things. But the emails I got, the very first email I got was from a celebrity that I didn't even know they knew who I was, but somebody must have shared the message, and I wasn't getting lots of likes and comments at that time. There were 7 pages of emails within 1 hour. And the first message I got, and this is to answer your question, was from a celebrity who I thought made it big. Said, how did you have the strength to share your story? I read your testimony and I put the gun down. And I was like, whoa, what just happened? And I felt something grow inside of me. 5 messages later, somebody shared your story and I was on my way to drive my car off a bridge. I didn't drive my car off a bridge. Thank you for your courage. In that moment, I knew that I was representing for the voiceless. I became the voice of the voiceless. And I said, I know exactly why I'm here. Now I know exactly why I went through all of those things. Because every single person that represents different aspects of my life that are going through something deep and they've never shared it with anybody, I became a light in the world of their darkness.
Rule number 8 is unleash your inner artist.
You help people bring out and unleash their inner artist.
Yeah, totally.
Talk to us about that.
I always take it back to the little kid. You know, I remember when I was a little kid, I loved to sing, I loved to dance. Time wasn't of the essence. And I had unlimited resources of energy. And I feel that as we get older as a people, more and more adults start separating from that little kid, not realizing that adults are deteriorated children who have forgotten their way inside of their own body. So I the biggest part of my transformation was reconnecting with little Garrain and honoring what he always wanted, what made him happy. And I call that artist. I call that the little kid with unlimited passion and power and energy and excitement and joy and just wants to play and is so curious and discovers life. That is like a seed that most people are missing. You know, you come around so many people, they have all the cars and the girls and the guys and the money, and they're like, but I feel like something is missing. In my opinion, I think it's the aspect of that little kid that's inside of them, which I call kid equals artist. So I coined this phrase called artist power. And that's using the power of the little kid inside of you. So I teach people how to awaken the artist within, who has so much to share and give to the world, but we stuff it down. I think I should do this to fit inside of this peer group, and this person sees me this way, so I'm gonna make a shell of myself. And if the shell of myself looks like who you want me to look like, then I'm further separating myself from the real me.
If the shell of myself looks like who you want me to look like, then I'm further separating from myself.
From the real me, yeah. It's like a jail cell inside of a jail cell inside of a jail cell.
Because so much of it is cultural expectations.
Absolutely.
And who we think culture and society and those around us want us to be.
It starts with mom and dad.
Right.
You shouldn't do this. You should do that. You shouldn't do that. We don't do things like that. Well, this runs in the family. This runs in the family. This runs in the family. I'm like, well, I do have my own heart. I have these thoughts, me and my ancestors. But like really, when you really think about it, would you want to live in a world where you are exactly like everybody? No. There would be no room for uniqueness.
Right.
So
there'd be no artistry.
No artistry. And artistry doesn't necessarily mean painting and singing and dancing. You have, when you're born, you're giving a blank canvas for your life. And you can paint it any way you want. The way I see it, your gifts are the paint. But then what happens is other people come into your life and then they steal that part of you. And then you give your power away. And you use other people's paint on your canvas, not even realize that that's pastel base and you're meant for oil-based painting. And if you don't know anything about painting, you don't put pastels on oil-based painting. You put oil-based paint on oils, on an oil palette. You put pastel palette for pastels. So it's like living outside of a box that was never yours to begin with. And this is what I come up against, or that this is the challenge that I face every day. I can speak to somebody within 2 minutes and know if they're living truly from their authentic expression or someone else's.
Rule number 9 is love yourself.
I would say the first place to start is start loving yourself. So if you feel emptiness, that means that you're waiting for somebody to come fill you up. Let me tell you something. You were born perfect, whole, and complete. And until you see that, you're going to keep attracting the same way you're attracting. So if you're attracting nothing, there's a good chance that you see nothing when you look in the mirror, when you feel nothing whenever you check in with your heart. So my advice, my healthy advice, is to learn how to love yourself. Like every day that you wake up in the morning, even say some affirmations. Affirmations is when you are affirming who you are. So you can say things like, I love my nose, I love my hair, I love my freckles, I love my skin, I love my culture, I love my teeth, I love my hygiene, I love my breath. And it's a practice. And if you've never done that before, it might seem difficult. But we can love some shoes, and we can love this car, and we can love all these different things. But we don't take even more time to love ourselves. Your self-love is the foundation on which everything is built. and everything will manifest according to how you see yourself.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is keep moving forward.
Keep moving forward is the philosophy that I live by. I remember when I was living in my car, $200,000 in debt, not caring whether I live or I died, wanting to take my own life. And it seemed like every time I got forward, I would take 2 steps forward. Something would happen that would knock me back down. Somebody would die in the family. Girlfriend would break up with me. Something would happen that just like shot a dagger through my heart. And I always heard this little voice say, Garrain, get back up and keep moving forward. And it never seemed like in my life like anything was happening, and I was working so hard, and I would work, and get knocked back down. Work, and then get knocked back down. Work, and then get knocked back down. And the whole entire time I kept hearing this voice said, Garrain, get back up and keep moving forward. And I would get 2 steps ahead. Bam, then something would knock me back down. And get back up and keep moving forward. And it's a lot like practice. Because what I didn't realize, what I didn't have the awareness of knowing that the goals, dreams, desires, and wishes that I asked for went somewhere, and out there, I'd like to say, God said, well, then I'm gonna train you. You're gonna get this work. Because I had big dreams, there were big obstacles, big challenges, and I couldn't see at the time. So my life was so difficult. It was so hard. I'm like, why does the same thing keep happening to me over and over? And I don't know, it was just such a struggle. And I didn't know that I was being shaped and molded and cultivated and literally created for something much bigger, because you can't see the picture while you're in the frame. All I had was this little voice inside saying, Garrain, get back up and keep moving forward. And I kept picking myself up. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Now I would gain a little bit of momentum. I just got this job. I just got this new girl. She is the one, and everything is going amazing. And then, bam, lightning strikes down, and I get knocked back 10, 15, 20 steps. Garrain, get back up and keep moving forward. And keep moving forward. And keep moving forward. So some of you guys out there right now are currently going through a struggle. You're going through some pain. You're going through some strife. Like you got 10,000 elephants on your back. Like you're carrying the world on your back. And you don't know how you're going to make it in life. How am I going to get out of this rut? You have no idea. Get back up and keep moving forward, because it's not about the goal that you're going for. It's who you become during the process, during the struggle. I don't even use those words, struggle. I allow my words to create my world. So anything that you acknowledge exists, I allow my words to shape me and empower me even through times of pain. So instead of struggle, I say this is a growing opportunity, and I just say thank you. Gratitude is the glue that holds life together, and I'm just focusing on getting 1% better every single day. So anybody out there, if you're currently going through something, and if you're going through physical abuse, mental abuse, you just got fired, you didn't get that audition, that guy doesn't like you, that girl doesn't like you, something in your house and in your life, and you're just like, know that deep down inside there's a voice saying, get back up. And keep moving forward. 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 It's not about the destination. It's who you become through the journey. You're not going through anything. You're growing through the process. And the bigger the dream, the bigger the goal, the bigger your challenges. The smaller the dream, the smaller your goal, the smaller your challenges. So you want something big in life? Let's see how you show up for your goals. Let's see how you show up for your family. Let's see how you show up for your dreams. Let's see how you show up for your last name, your legacy. Listen, on your tombstone, there's a date, and then there's a dash, and then there's another date. Right now, you're living in the dash. What is your dash made of? Excuses, complaints, insecurities, gossip, or do you want it to be made of something that will change generations, change the culture of this nation, break the chains of racism, break the chains of everything that's going on in your life that you don't even feel like that's giving you so much love? What if you can break all of those chains only to live inside of your true freedom? Keep moving forward, get 1% better every single day.
When I was at rock bottom, I didn't know that I was at rock bottom. And you can't really change what you're not aware of. And so it was like one of those things where it's like, can it get any worse? Bam. Can it get any worse? Bam. And I kept asking the question, can it get any worse? I didn't know that what I was asking was causing my life. So it was to the point where either I die or I do something about it, because it was like, I didn't have, my daughter pretty much was like, you're not my father. You don't know what love is. My girlfriend had just broke up with me. And, my mother was pretty much 16 different, what's it called? She was on 16 different medications. There was so much stuff going on. And I'm watching all of these people be successful. And I'm like, I'm more talented than them, and I don't understand why I'm still in the exact same spot, which I didn't know was rock bottom. And then one day it just all came crashing down, and I was like, why am I here? I remember lying down in the middle of the road, and I'm like, I want to die, like right now. And I stayed there. Cars were driving by, honking and everything. And I don't know what happened in between that. But literally, my car had just got out of the impound. My mom had paid for it. She didn't even have much money, but somehow she would always do something for her baby boy. And she got my car out of the impound. The day I got my car out of the impound, that's when somebody had broke into my car. And it was like, can it get any worse? And that night on La Brea, on the corner of La Brea and Hollywood, I'm at there's this little shopping center, and my car was parked, my window was busted out to the right, and literally it was raining. It was 3:43 in the morning, August 2011, and I yelled out, eyes bloodshot red, and I still didn't know that this was rock bottom, but I've always focused on what I don't want. And I just remember saying, okay, I'm tired of fighting. I don't want to fight anymore. I want to be healthy. I want to be happy. I want to be surrounded by nothing but positive people. I just want to inspire people, and I want to make a bunch of money, but I want the money to represent something that I passionately believe in. Just show me a sign. Show me a sign. Show me. And I just kept saying it over and over and over. It wasn't until a week later until I met the man at the gas station, and he asked me for money. And he said, do you have any money? He's just like, it was a homeless guy. And he had a wad of money. I said, you have more money than me. And he goes, have you ever seen the movie Rain Man? The guy was talking to himself. Person did the exact same thing. He was like, change your mindset, change your life. Change your mindset, change your life. Change your mindset, change your life. Change your mindset. And then they walked away. And it was in that very moment I felt like my whole entire life was a lie.
The reason why I'm coming to you today is simply to talk about something that has been holding mankind down for year after year after year after year after year. And that is fear. That is fear. Lack of this. I don't know how I'll ever be able to do it. How is that even possible? I don't think it's for me. I'm so afraid. Stop all of that. You were put on this earth to be a champion. You woke up this morning and that is your holiday, to be like, I am alive and that I'm in purpose, on purpose, and I'm here to deliver a message to the world. And whatever it is that you choose to focus on, to create with your thoughts and your energy, that is your message to the world. Would you want your message to the world be, oh, I can't stand traffic, or she makes me sick, or he makes me sick, or I don't know, is this for me? Is that what you want your message to the future generations to know, that that was your character? Heck no. We weren't put on this earth to pay bills and die and pass that philosophy on to our kids. We were put on this earth to be bold and live out loud and do something with our lives, impact the world, impact the community, do something, be brave, be bold. And exactly in direct proportion to how you approach the world is how it responds to you and your thoughts and your energy. And most people focus on the fear of failure rather than the possibility of gain. So I'm encouraging all of you out there, ladies and gentlemen, remove the fear of failure. Well, what if it doesn't work? Well, what if it does? Possibility of gain, gain time, gain friends, gain a business, gain financial freedom, gain power, gain energy, not the failure. Remove that. Take it out of your thoughts. Take it out of your words. Take it out of your actions. And how to change your life is simply do the opposite of whatever you normally do. And if anything is fear-based, you put a stranglehold on your future. Let's not focus on the fear of failure. Let's focus on the possibility of gain. Do one thing that makes you want to throw up every single day. What's the one thing? Whatever that is. Build the muscle. Build the new pattern that allows you to step into your life boldly. You do that, everything changes. The life cannot deny someone who gives their absolute all. But make sure you use your whole self. I'm not talking about kind of do this, kind of do that, kind of wake up, kind of show up, kind of do this. Anything you kind of do, you'll get a kind of result. But why do fish make it look so easy when they're swimming? They're flowing because they use all of themselves. Birds, you look at them, they make it look so easy when they fly because they use all of themselves. We don't use all of ourselves because we've been given the dignity of choice. I choose not to wake up. I choose not to go to this seminar, and I choose not to read this book, and I choose to read this gossip column and all this stuff poisoning your mind. You don't have a shot collar. You're free to do what you want. The day that you decide to take possession of your own mind, that's your declaration of independence. So my whole entire life, I want to be a superhero. I want to be stronger than the average man, have abs like an action figure, and save people's lives all over the world. I maintained that all the way through high school. When people started giving up and started to go, I'm going to go do what my dad is doing. I'm going to go do what my mom is doing. When it was time to graduate and all the stuff that you do to graduate, they're like, so what are you going to be when you get in the real world? Tell me you still don't want to be a superhero. And I'm like, I want to be stronger than the average man. I want to have abs like an action figure, and I want to save people's lives all over the world. And I was so serious. When I left that, that's when I was stuck. That's when I was lost. When I left everything that I loved to do as a child, that's when I said I felt like something is missing the most. I like to say that anything that you love as a child is connected to your inner child, which is directly connected to source. As soon as I started doing everything that I loved, there was a surge of power, a surge of confidence. I wasn't insecure anymore because the emotion that had the most dominance in my thought process and in my heart process was actually being paid attention to. If you can imagine a little dog that goes in a neighbor's yard, and then the owner gets mad, so he puts this shock collar on the dog's neck. And then outside of the yard is this invisible wall. And as soon as the dog goes to the wall, it gets shot. So guess what? Your parents say, don't touch the stove, you'll get hot. Bam, shot. Don't run into the street or you'll get run over. Bam, shot. Color in between the lines. Bam, shot. You do this, you'll get in trouble. Boom. What? Turn on the news, you see all this crazy stuff going on. Shot, shot. You've been trained off of fear-based tactics your whole entire life. So what happens when the owner takes the leash off the dog's neck? It's already built subconsciously in his mind. Anywhere I get close to going past comfort zone, I pull back. Even when the shock collar is not there. So when people go out on their own and they go to work for another person, they don't even realize that they don't have the shock collar on anymore. And that's why they say 9 out of 10 millionaires fail their way to success, because they took the most risks and they learned the most lessons, and from that they showed other people how to do how they got to where they are. So everybody out there, you don't have a shock collar. That is an invisible wall of fear. And anytime you feel that knot come up, on the other side of that wall is called the door to more. Open it and watch your life change.
What's the trait that you've cultivated in yourself that you think is most responsible for your success?
Honestly, the ability to love no matter what.
That is not what I expected you to say.
The ability to love no matter what, because I came from such a hateful environment and I didn't know what was going on while I was in insecurity. I don't love myself. I have a high hairline. I'm going to be bald by the time I'm 20, and that's all I'm hearing. My slightly crooked nose. I don't love myself. I don't love my body. So I'm just eat all this food. Like, coming from that environment and then learning to love every aspect of myself, whether you like it or not, and just truly learning to love myself, and then being in a situation where I was in business with someone that had a very similar path and very similar growth of success, but it seemed like something was holding us both down. And I remember one day we were going on a retreat, and I looked in the mirror and I said, you know what? Him being a friend to me has nothing to do with me being a friend to him. So I'm just going to love no matter what. And I remember saying that, and something leaped out of my chest. It was like this weird, thick, and I felt light. I felt very different. Now that day I posted, and this is before I was getting thousands of likes and thousands of shares. That day I posted something on Facebook. I tagged maybe 48 people and got maybe 30 something likes. That's when nobody was messing with your boy. And that weekend when we went on that trip, I was like, you know, him being a friend to me has nothing to do with me being a friend to him. So I'm just going to love no matter what. And I'm just going, I will never give anyone else permission to change who I am. And when I just made that decision to love no matter what, even if you hurt me, I know deep down inside that that's not really you. And just to come from the place of loving no matter what, and really being able to accept people for who they are, and how they are not, without any expectation whatsoever. 3 days later, I went on Facebook and I posted the exact same message, but I didn't tag anybody, but I felt different. Feeling is the secret. I felt different where I was coming from, saying the exact same thing. I posted and it was like 475 likes, like within like an hour. I'm like, what the hell happened? I was speaking to my life coach at the time, Monica Zanz, and she was like, well, what did you do different? I was like, well, I had this conversation. She was like, you released hate from your heart. And that was the grip hold that you had resentment, like what it takes to hold on. Remember I told you, we're not created to be keepers, we're created to be givers. You and I, we can't hold that water, it's gotta come out. Can't hold, like all that stuff that you hold on to, and I was holding on to resentment. But the power that it takes to hold on to resentment is the same power that's needed to sustain at the next level. And I didn't even know that I was holding on to the universe of the next level inside of that resentment. When I let that go, anything that I was a part of tripled within 3 months. And people are like, what are you doing? What are you doing? The only thing I did was just like release the resentment that was inside. Michael Jordan couldn't have won those championships by himself. He had a coach, and there's people around him. When I was never exposed to that kind of environment. Like my father was murdered when I was 12 years old, and I had to experience that myself in person. So that's the kind of life that shaped and cultivated me. So I didn't know anything outside of the hood. But when I was around people who were like light bearers and world changers, and who actually was like, they weren't just saying, I want to change the planet. I'm changing the planet. This is what I'm doing. This is the result. This is the book that I'm reading. These are the seminars that I took. So just being around that environment, it was like a form of language. And I'll tell you really quick, the greatest way to learn, if you want to learn French, is not at Coffee Bean doing Rosetta Stone. Go to France, eat a baguette, be around the French people, be around the culture. So when I was in that culture, by default, I just started shifting and compressing time frames.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome. If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.